Bow, 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 bow. Do do do. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, baby, here we go. The stream is about to start. Welcome everyone to another exciting adventure through simple poly tricks. Today, boys and girls, we are journeying back in time. Back to a time when we were working on an entirely different project and forgot it. Behold! And none of you remember this. That's fine. So, eons ago, I was working on this project and somehow forgot about it and moved on. But now we are returning back to the heart of the forest, as this one is called. It is simply an old face on a tree. You can see the concept work there. We went back in and started working on this again, and it became tedious one night, ran out of time, dropped it off, and didn't come back to it. But we're going to be doing some tedious stuff tonight. Just for a little bit, just to see the progression of this and hopefully get a little bit farther into it. Right now we're working on kind of a root system that has a visualization of a mustache, a little bit of a beard, and then we're going to try our best to make a tree around it. I have this tree, a cylinder and a root, but we are definitely not using that. I am not going to go and combine all these pieces with it. Although I think I actually did specifically make that. So from what I remember last time, I want to say that I went in and added all these edges here, or these polygons here, to match the number of polygons all the way around this so that we can actually bridge it together once we get it done. But for right now, all we're going to be doing is isolating the piece here, and we're just going to seal this little hole up, basically where we were the last time. And we're just throwing in some random pieces and whatnot. We got to this part here, and then it was like, ah, crap, this is going to be a pain. So we're just going to see what we can do right now. Let's make another edit poly just because, oh, that's what we were doing. Okay. Added a little bit more segments to it so we can join all the pieces together right there. That makes sense. May have to do the same thing from right there that goes up, so that all these pieces will connect. All these right here will connect to here. Okay, let's do that. Let's see what it does. Let's see what it do. We do not want the bottom here. We're just going to make a bunch of segments here. How many do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Which is just fine when it comes to odd numbers. And there's 11 segments we've added in the connect, and click on OK. And now we can go in here to poly, and we can basically just go in there and start, not sure why, there we go. And we're going to make a slap to a stem gem. We're going to turn on our snap, and we're just going to be making polys the old-fashioned way, like that. Nothing to it. You guys can do it just as easily as this. Just make sure when you're snapping, you're getting a good view of everything. And this is a good one right here. Oops. Make sure your snap is on. Make sure you're hitting the right numbers. It doesn't matter which vertice you start on when you're making these, just as long as you hit all 4 of them, including the one vertice that you started with, because you're basically just making a loop and sealing it off. So you're just making a complete pattern. You need at least 3 vertices to make this. Without the 3rd one, you're only going to make just a line, and it's not going to be very good. You can have as many vertices as you want to make one of these. You don't have to. Why do I have a horrible measurement here? I'm 1 off. Did I mess up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I must have put 11 and put 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. Yeah, I pushed 11 and it made 11 segments, which means it makes 12 polygons. Yeah, it's a mistake, rookie mistake. Rookie mistake there, boss. Can't have that happen no more. Okay, I promise not to. What is going on? Stop. So what we can do is just delete, or we can, I mean, really the easiest way is just go to your edge, grab that all right there, and then hold down Control and hit remove. And then when you go to vertices, all the vertices are gone. It removes both the edges and the vertices, as if they were not there. Ooh. And then go to your vertice, and then, I don't know. If you want to move that over, you can. I'm not going to bother. It makes no point. Something like that. Okay. And now we just continue our way, making copies. Doing it this way. Oops, I did that wrong. Maybe I should do it this way. There we go. The only problem is you're going to have to keep in mind, make sure that you're facing the right way on these polys, because right now this thing is really acting weird. Make sure all the polys are pointed outward. They're dark inside, bright outside. It's got that little pinkish hue. Alright, another challenge right here is going to be this. But again, we go in here and go to the top. From the top to the bottom. And I'm going to select all to the middle here because that's my middle point. And that way I know just how many, starting right here, this is to this point. So that to there, all of that I need to count and do it right this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So when you're making, you grab all these. I have no idea why it's doing that. That's kind of, ignore back faces is not turned on, so it's just acting weird. Alright, so go to connect, and in this time I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's always one more than what you put down, so you put down 13 segments, then you'll have 14 polygons. We just learned that literally 2 seconds ago. And here we go, talking to each other again. That's talking to myself. That's chaos theory. And we just do this over and over and over. again. I mean, it's extremely tedious, but at the same time, it keeps your models looking and operating very cleanly, so that when you do fuse them together, you have more of a solidity behind it. That was a bad one. Just hit your back button, or just escape and redo it from start. I'm not using snaps, and I should. You can do it with or without, but it sure helps doing it with. And then there's just so many vertices in the background. It's kind of tough to not attach it to the wrong vertex. Just be careful when you're doing it and constantly look around. That's what that space pilot works so well. See? Screwed up there. Grabbed the wrong one. And like I said, I would try to go for the front because this seems like the best place to do it. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Maybe it'll work this time. I'm not sure why it didn't work to begin with. Something else in the foreground was interfering with it. And there we go. So we're making our way here. It's working. It's working. And it's one of those things that we could probably grab some of these polys on the inside because it's all symmetrical. In fact, the whole thing is symmetrical, if I'm not mistaken. I think I was smart enough to do that. So in this regard, it's exactly what I want to do. So what we're going to do here is go to your front. I'm going to select straight up right down the middle. And I'm going to make sure that I've got just the middle parts. Have to get rid of that too because we'll cap that hole whenever it solidifies. But for right now, we're going to go ahead, clear that out, and we're going to turn on symmetry. And it looks kind of wonky right here. It's because it's trying to go symmetrically front to back. And right over here where the mirror axis, you merely just have to you merely just have to change it so that it not reads up and down, but side to side. Now that it's wanting to read the right side and the left side of the beard mirrored like that, you don't see anything. Well, 9 times out of 10, when that happens, you merely have to just click the flip button, and that will bring up the two pieces like that. You want to also keep an eye on your threshold. This is where the vertices down the middle are welded together so that they're one piece, so that when you go to edit poly and you select that vertice, there is just one vertex selected. It wants to be fused, and that's how it is. So that's a quick and easy way to get that done. So now we pretty much zippity-doo-dawed right through that part. The next thing I wanted to do was probably put a bend in this thing, because notice if you see at the very top, see how flat that is? And we're going to need that thing to really kind of convert and conform to at least somewhat of the curve of the cylinder. Otherwise, it's just not going to fit. So we can go in here and add a bend. There's a bend underneath there, the modifier tab. You can actually apply it to it. And we want it to be we want it to bend so that it's like this way. And to be honest with you, I can never remember which axis, and I think it is the z-axis, because the z-axis, it'll wrap. Think of it as this is a tree, this is a pole, the z, this actual axis right here, and you're wanting to bend it around that pole. Just pretend like it's thicker than that little line, and then wrap it, and that shows you that see how it wraps around the Z. That's how I like to think of it that way. Let's go to the top view and do a wrappity wrap. And we're going to get kind of close. We're not going to get really close, but we're going to get kind of close. Something like that. You can actually go in here if you want to and find the angle of the cylinder and type it in. You can do that. One of the things I don't like is that it bent that front part way too much, which is not good. The middle part is okay. I'm okay with everything but that part. So what do? Well, we do nothing. Yeah, what do we do? Because I don't think I've ever actually done partial bends where you could just select the material. Let's do that. Let's cut this out. And let's add a poly select. I don't know if it's actually going to apply to it. Poly select, sometimes you select what you want the modifier above it to do. And if you don't want certain pieces to do it, to be affected by it, well, then you just go in here and select it. And boy, we'll see how this works. This just screams disaster, or not even working. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. Okay. Because I don't want the rest of it to be. So, instead of deselecting the polygon selection like we usually deselect, so that it's not in polygon sub-object mode. But in this case, we do. We leave it there, and then we add another. We add our. We paste our bend. Yeah, it did work actually. So what we did there, it bends just whatever you have selected. Now, it does screw up that, but that's easily fixable because we can go in there and we can we add another edit poly, and we grab the vertices that were just in the part that wasn't selected, i.e. this area. And this area. So it's all that stuff. And we can physically move just that spot over to where we want it to be. So now it's still over to one side like we wanted to, but now it's underneath that root, so it looks pretty clean. It looks pretty good. We need to do the same thing for this one, and we should be good to go. So poly select, I've used that before for other reasons, but not for bend before. But yes, apparently that works for bend too. So basically, you go in there, select the parts of your model that you want to put the modifier bend to, then add the bend to that polygon with it still being selected down here in polygon count, and then apply your bend. Now, if you go back to polygons, poly select here, and if you deselect or change the polys that are selected in that, it will directly affect your bend. So you want to be careful not to touch this, and really you just want to not do anything from now on, just of the hierarchy. Just leave it alone. Leave it be. I want to get this thing looking a little bit cleaner. You won't really see the back. I am a bit concerned with the way those pieces sit. So what we'll do is, instead of, that looks all right there. Well, that turned out pretty good. Well, why did I screw up this one so much then? And what we'll do is just if we can somehow just grab what we need to grab. Like that. All we just want is that area. The rest of it's fine. It just, for some reason, that didn't get situated. There you go. Easy. Alright. So, yeah, we're getting there. I still don't see how this is going to work, but we're going to try it. Alright, so I'm going to save this as a new file. Forest Heart 3, whatever. And now I'm going to try to attach, which would be lovely if that's all you needed to do, but now we have to actually physically attach the pieces together, because they're just attached like a group, but now we have to actually join them together. And we do that by selecting border, and we've selected the border edge of the mustache and of the cylinder. We cross our fingers and we hit bridge. And I guess I did actually do a somewhat decent job adding the number count, because that's not too terribly bad. It's bad in some areas, but let's see what it looks like inside. A little bit overlapping, but nothing that we couldn't fix. Actually seems like it does relatively work pretty well. Let's look on the outside. Let's screw around with this a little bit and see if we can't get it to not be so wonky. And right now I'm just adjusting a little bit here and there just to see if the polygons line up just a tad bit better than they did. What are these? These are just objects that, or settings rather, that allow you to just kind of twist and adjust the way they're connected. This one twists, I think. One twists and one twists and one goes the other direction. I'm not really sure, but I always just check and see how things look. Yeah, don't worry about it too much. The fact that it's kind of a rough connection right there. We'll fix some of this area, especially right there, because there's where the big problem was, is that there's some overlapping right here. And we'll need to fix that if we can. And one way of doing it. Oh, I see it. It connected all those way over there. Oh, that's right. I added more segments. Alright, back up. I forgot. I added more segments than needed to be. So undo, 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 undo. Let's see how far we can get. Okay. What I screwed up on is that I added more segments here and more segments here, which also, when I mirrored it, added it there and there. As a result, it added more segments than on the cylinder. I already had enough of them as it is, and now I've got even more. if I remember right, I added 12 over here. No, I take it back. 11 over here, 11 over here, and then 14 on this side, 14 on that side. That is 28. And 22 is 50. Yep, I'm going to do it just to double check. So there's 50. So we've added 50 segments to this. And generally speaking, I would add them up to here instead of down there because that's where all the pieces are going to connect. So, it's going to kind of suck. So basically, I'm going to have to go in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16. So that's 32 right there from this piece to that piece. 32 segments. Let's bring out the calculator again. 32 and so I need an extra 50 total. So I don't need to connect all of them. I just need to connect some of them. So I need 25 on either side. No, that's not enough. It's not going to be enough. So if well, wait a minute. If there's already 30, no, wait a minute. Yeah, there's 32 polygons. If I double that, that'll be 64. So that's what I was going to do, is come in here and slime down there. Use connect. So now there'll be 64 of them, and I don't need 14 of them because I only need 50. So that means 7 on either side I don't need. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 I don't need. And that means theoretically if I ring it from here and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right there and ring it, that should give me what I need. We don't want 2, we want 1, and we don't want to connect each other. So yeah, we're going to have to do it one at a time. Like that. Ring, select that, click ring, click connect, select that, click ring, click connect, that, ring, connect, that, ring, connect. Oh, bo do 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 do. But wait, couldn't you just symmetry the whole thing since you've only gone halfway? No, because there's a root on the right side that makes it asymmetrical. So right there, so we can't do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can actually come from this angle just so we don't go too far. Ring it, connect it, ring it, connect it, ring it, ring a ding ding, connect, ring, connect, ring, connect. Alrighty. Now that I've got that, I theoretically should be able to come in here. I should have enough here. So if I go in here, too bad I couldn't like connect that. I don't know how many of those are, but it doesn't matter. We're going to try it again. We're going to grab this. We're going to grab that. We're going to grab bridge. And we're going to see if it connects even better this time. This time, it seemed like it connected slightly better. There's a lot less uh, overlapping than there was. I've added more polys and all that. This isn't the greatest area right here, but at least all that is just that little corner piece, and that could be brought out if I wanted to. Now that didn't come out very well. Matter of fact, it didn't come out at all. It instead of it joining those bottom pieces, it's just leaving it hanging. That's not what we want. Let me see if we can't convert. We can just rotate this just a tad bit. Does it? Ah, there we go. So that worked a little bit better. This was a little rotation. And basically I just rotated it around so that it had more sensible connections. And it's still not the greatest in the world. Matter of fact, that's still not, we still can't have that. See how that big of a gap right there? It needs to be attached to the bottom piece here. We're not getting that done right. So we move the other one. There we go. Move it to the other side. That's starting to look more symmetrical, but still we got pieces here that look like they're overlapping. Yep, they sure are. So that's not going to print for a lick. The object really is to just get it symmetrical, so all the pieces are wanting to go in the same direction. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to extrude. I'm going to see if I can extrude outward. Maybe not. Try it again. Extrude outward like this. And then scale it uniformly. Not really worrying about the tree at this point. And bring this whole thing out. Element, because it's still not part of the piece. Not sure really what these are. Do we have big holes? We do. We have big gigantic holes right there. 2 spots, and then whatever the crap that was, these need to go. And we need to make sure that we're not looking really bad here. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. We've got possibly 3 poly. Oh man, or 3 vertices. That's not what we want. We want 1. And that means it's over here too somewhere. And we select edge. Oh boy. And I want to select this one. Yeah. I see it's 2 edges right there connected to each other. That means that there's extra polygons somewhere around. We're going to try to look for them here. Seems to be the only place it was there, but we do know that it has to do with this whole row right here. So we're just going to grab all these, and we got 20 of them right now. We're going to weld them. It's down to 11. So definitely improve that quite a bit there. Let's see. We need to go ahead and border this. Ah, got another one that's down the bottom. That's probably why I didn't map very well, or didn't create. We got 11 vertices here. Let's weld them and see what happens. Yeah, went down to 10. So, yeah, same for over here. Open vertices suck. They just cause all kinds of problems. And we got them right there. Now that we got that sealed off, it should take it as border. You can cap it, and it does it correctly now. It reads it as a closed loop now because of the vertices. If they're open, then it doesn't know that it doesn't know where to turn because the intersection is not one vertice, it's multiple, so it doesn't know where to go. So that caused that, but we are okay now. Let's save it as a new file. Let's see. Alright, now from here, we might be able to grab the border and extend this out a little bit more. Basically, all I'm trying to do is keep from overlapping things, but making the whole presentation bigger like this, so that maybe it just feeds better. We may go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and detach this for a second because we're not quite ready. I thought we were, but we're not. And isolate it. And I'm thinking this area here might be problematic. So if we go in here and extend these pieces here down so we have this nice ledge there, then that might make it even easier, because then it's pretty much just wrapped around. Same for over here. Just make it so that it's as little geometry as possible, just an overall shape of it. So the easiest way to do this, because there's no place to there's no vertices. If we want to make a polygon right here and right here, just so we can have this line in and kind of fill this area, there's nothing for us to anchor to when we're trying to make something. When we're trying to create a polygon, there's nothing here. We can make it a 3-piece, but we can't make it a 4. So the easiest way to do that is you go in here and basically just grab as little of the rest of the model as you can. Don't worry about that, the extra stuff. Just grab this line right here. And we are needing to not go that far. That's as far as we need to go. And now we can look straight down and actually just hold down Alt to deselect if you aren't familiar with that command. And that way you've got it. Push F3 real quick, make sure there's no red. That's a funky looking mask. I tell you what, that would be a sweet looking mask in general. You cut out those holes in the eyes right there, right there, and right there. That'd be pretty awesome. So anyway, what we do here is we hold down Shift and drag the edges out like that, and bring them down a little bit. And then to make them so that it's easier for us to get to, we don't put Z, but we do Y, the make planar option over here. So it's nice and flat, something like that. And then we probably need to do the same thing for this and this one. Bring them out. It doesn't matter where, just bring them out, because we're going to be snapping target weld. Snap. And then snap back in on itself. And then bring this one down. Don't target weld, just general. Have your snaps on. And then snap it down to one of them. Like that. Turn your snap off and then bring it back. And then you've got it kind of in the general proximity. You can then move it around if you want to, but it's immaterial. You can do that if you want. But basically you're just wanting to get some kind of a general geometry base right there. If you want to bring all this down later, we can. so that it's down this part. I mean, it's a matter of just grabbing all of this right here, just your vertices on the edge, and nothing else, and bring it on down. So we're looking about there. That's kind of where we're hoping for. Deselect that so we can bring the rest of these down. Need to back up a little bit more. There. It's more or less straight. And then bring these out so that's kind of, at this point, symmetry doesn't matter because we've already dealt with that. And it doesn't have to be just absolutely perfect. You know, it's just in the ballpark of where that needs to go. Grab your edges again for this guy. We got to do the same thing for him. Target weld him to the corner, him to that corner, and then turn off your target weld and just snap to one of these two. Make sure that it is snapped to it. Turn off your snap and bring it back. And then you have it in the general area. And then just bring these guys out. Like that. So now you've got more or less kind of a flat piece down the bottom. A lot of segments, but at least you got a flatter piece. We're going to do the same thing here. But this case, we're going to, we don't want quite so many. That's the thing is, if we could convert a lot of these pieces here because they really don't need to be, we don't need to have this many pieces at the edge. This needs to be there, but then they could all, I mean, really all we needed them for was this joining here. So really this is kind of a waste of time. So we can actually do a lot of cleaning here by going to edge, and you can go in here and, man, there's a lot of them. See if I can get it where I can actually see here. There we go. Grabbing all of these, and I don't want it's kind of an overlapping thing there. Ooh, that's not very good. They kind of overlap there. Let's fix that. There's not quite so overlapping now. Okay, so basically we need to select everything between those two pieces there. And that's fine. Let's go in here and hold down Control. Oops. Make sure you're selecting, yeah, make sure you're just selecting what you need and nothing else. Or that you can easily deselect everything. Now, we don't want to get rid of this vertical piece, unfortunately. We just want the side. You know, I'm just gonna get rid of these instead. Not that one, but all the other ones. So that it's just these. And I'm going to try to see if I can remove that. And then I'm going to try to collapse all of these. Because we really don't need them. We don't need all these. Let me see if I can collapse like that. See how it just we just kind of killed all of those? We still need them to have some kind of a anchor point right there because we need these pieces to connect with that. But we don't need it on here because there's nothing here to connect it to. And we need to do the same thing over here. This thing needs to be vamooshed. sure this is not quite as overlapping as it was. And then go in here, F3, and just grab everything except the outer two edges so that they have something to hold on to at least. And we don't want this just yet because that's just fine. We just need these cluster, and that's it. And then hold down Control and hit Remove, and it removes them all, and it should, yeah, it keeps it all solidified. And then just go in there and just grab all these bad boys and collapse them. There. It's a lot less polys right there. Same for this. Don't need them. Except the outer two. And then remove those. And then collapse those together. Don't need them. Won't notice. Won't care. And that makes it so it's a heck of a lot easier to get these pieces here. And they're just way unnecessary. I should have done this before I extruded, but that's alright. Now that may be different. I may have to keep those because they are fused to the bottom of this piece here. I could try to collapse it. Oops, not on edges. I want vertices. Try to collapse the vertices because I don't think we need them. Yeah, do that. That's not bad. So they're still connected, but now it's just a lot less vertices than there were. Same for here. Collapse that bad boy. And then there, that goes away. And we collapse that. Yeah, it's looking good now. The same thing for up here. Keep it where it has a turn, where this edge turns. Keep those, and that way it has something to hold on to. But this edge right here doesn't, and this edge there doesn't. The rest of them can go like that. And then just don't forget to collapse them all. Collapse them all. And we could actually go in farther, but I think this is good enough. It's mainly just getting that edge to have lesser faces than they did. See how much cleaner that is now around the edges. That being said, we're going to save it as another iteration. Why? Because I'm paranoid. I always am. And now we can end isolation. We can I'll bring this thing down just a tad bit. And then I'm going to see about grabbing these pieces. Because I'm going to try to adjust things just a tad bit. I'm going to see if I can't bring these guys back up so that they are, because I wanted this thing to be closer to the ground, or closer to the base, but not so much that it's It's dragging on the ground. But we're going to try soft select and see if we can't really kind of work on this and move them up like that. I'm going to put a plane here, and I'm going to bring it out like that. And this is going to be my telltale sign of whether I'm close or not. Now, I think, yeah, I can't have soft select on to use the planer. There we go. And then if I turn it on and use the alignment tool, yeah, it doesn't work that way. You've got to, it has to be just enough to do it. Yeah, it'll do the average of the two. So really, you need to just not have soft select on at all and turn on that way. Yeah, I'm pretty close to the base anyway, so it doesn't matter. There. Just basically keeping those flat, keeping it on the ground so that when it prints, it has a nice flat surface to print off of. There's going to be a lot of support on this one. Just unavoidable. Okay, get rid of that. Well, I guess I could actually get these things to get on the ground. These pieces here, so they're not completely. Yeah, I guess there's really no sense of having them off the ground, just enough to lightly touch it. There. Guess same thing goes for these guys. They're really close to. There we go. All right. Quite the endeavor, but it's going to work. But yeah, there's going to be some serious cleanup work underneath this thing, but it should be okay. Shouldn't be too difficult, and it hopefully is worth it because it's going to be pretty cool. Man, I almost want to redo this cylinder because it doesn't need to have that many sides now. At least not now. I do want to have that root. Just keep it. We don't have to keep the whole root. Just nothing but the root. And then detach that. Get rid of the overall one. And I mean, technically, I guess I could just keep working on. I could just pull this thing right up here. Let me see here. Thinking here. Thinking. Yeah, I can just make it the tree itself. So it's ready to rock. And that way, because this nose has got to come out. Right there. Right there. Mm-hmm. Create some serious overhang right there, but some of the stuff is just unavoidable. Thinking as I'm going here. Yeah, I may have to do a symmetry on this thing again. Because he's going to be more or less symmetrical. Yeah. Yep. Gonna have to cut him. Gonna make him bleed. Oh, what's that? I think it'll be alright. Let me see. This is going to be kind of a pain because you've got to go in here and make it all work out. And I'll just delete the damn thing. Excuse me. Alright. That's going to be a pain in the butt. And make sure it's perfectly symmetrical before you start going crazy cutting stuff. That's going to have to be fixed. Overlapping there. I'll fix that in a second. As far as it looks like, ooh, man, got in too close there. It looks to me like I've got it. I think I've got it all. So we'll cut it. And then, what was the first thing I was going to say? Is this? This? Yeah. You just go to your front section, select your vertices, and try your best on the first try to grab everything just on the edge. Don't want the second row, just right on that edge. Scroll up, make sure you're not selecting any of the other vertices, just that inner, this line here is all we're looking at. Run your eyes right up it, make sure you got it, it's fine and good. Now push the X. And that did absolutely nothing because I did it wrong. Push the Y, that did nothing. Push the Z, that did nothing. Awesome. I had this thing set up earlier. Why is it not wanting to do that? I'm just wanting to make them flat. Out here, I should be able to make them flat. And that is definitely not how you do it. That isn't either. Why? That did it. Okay, there we go. I just had to pull it out a little bit farther. No, that didn't work either. Dang it. Something wrong here. I mean, it's pretty close to being even Steven right as it is, so really I don't have to do much to it. I shouldn't have to. It's all this one. So really I should just have to make sure that I get all these. That should be even, actually. It is. Okay. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought. But the main thing is to get that not only symmetrical, but now I want to change my anchor point. I want to make sure that it is glued to the leftmost side. And it's not even doing anything. Come on now. Well, I want it to be this thing. And it's not wanting to. Wow. It's doing a heck of a job just to heck with me right now. Let's see. Let's try her again. Can we center to it? Well, at least we can do that. Thank goodness that. Yeah, because right now it does not want to do anything. That's really bizarre. See, this is various frustrations when it should be dancing all over this place. We're looking to move this anchor point so that's right along this. So when we symmetry it over, it'll be right on that edge. And for some reason, it's not wanting to do anything. And if I click another one, it's not even ready to go. So it's not wanting to do anything. Wow. Not really sure why it's doing that. But I think we can go in here and put in, oh, that's one of the reasons. It's not even registering as the same piece there. Because if we go into vertice, I mean, this is, oh, it's not, oh, that's why it got moved in. Okay. All right. So yeah, we can actually go in there and tell the anchor point to go to this point right here. And that looks, to me, that looks like it's a little off, but we'll see. To test it, we will click the symmetry button, go to Z. Yeah, that doesn't look like it's not even close. What in tarnation is going on here? It's actually splitting itself. That is really weird. Something wrong with this thing. But if we mirror it, a mirror works. Mirror works just fine. Symmetry doesn't, well, almost. That may be one of the reasons. Let's get this thing back to where it's supposed to be. Just take a quick run over most of them. We have to do every one of them, but we're looking for this number and make sure it's 83506 on the edge here. And looks like it's alright. So now when we go back to mirroring the thing, and now, like I said, it mirrors just fine. It's the rest of the thing that's kind of screwed up. Beats me, but I mean that's fine, and I mean, doesn't overlap. Only thing is you have to go in there and weld vertices afterwards. I don't know why that symmetry is not working. That is so bizarre. Splitting that thing. You definitely want to slice along there. It's almost like you gotta like tell it to look at that. That's ridiculous. It should not be splitting like that. It should be all even Steven. I don't know why that's the case. Oh, is that? I thought it was all the same. Yeah, it's the same line. They're on the same line. So why would you? It goes to vert. Yeah, it's at an angle. That's why. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to go to reset X form. Reset selected, and that may help. That did. All right, so for one reason or another, the angle of this object, it thought it was off axis. At some point in its creation, the axis got knocked over from being perfectly like it is now. When that happens, you can go to your utilities, which is way over to the far right, and there's a reset X form. And all that does is it basically takes all of your anchor points, all your coordinates that you have. Let's say you rotated an object 30 degrees, okay? And now it is going to think, for instance, like this. Make a box. Okay, so right now it is straight north, south, east, west, 90 degree, no big deal. If I were to go in and angle this, let's say I change my pivot, and I'm going to change it to where well, move it out there. Because you really can't do the angle of it, because rotating this doesn't really do anything. It just is what it is. But now that it's off to one side, if I move it, it's going to be, if I turn off an anchor point, now my anchor point's way over there. It kind of sucks. But if you go in here and click X reform and then reset, oh, well, for heaven's sakes, that's not what it did. Ah, hold on 1 second. There. All right. So now, when you try to affect the pivot, if it can actually go in there, see how it's offsided like this? So even though you see X and Y here, it is actually thinking itself as this being X and Y. It's going to think that this is this way and this is that way. They're off. And so yeah, when you go in here and click on X reform reset selected, it adds an X form to it, but it should, unless it's just gonna make a liar out of me. Now that it's back to normal. So it resets that. If you get a little out of control and you want it to get back to normal, you can do that. Like I said, it does add an X form, but that's not the end of the world. All right, let's get back to it. Got a little bit more time left, and then we're gonna call it for the evening. But for now, this is a good start. So I'm going to continue. I'll turn off the symmetry. I'll keep the X form, and then I can add on top of the X form anything I want, and it'll stay then. And then once I turn on symmetry, it'll add into whatever I am. But I want symmetry above all my work from now on, so that it'll just automatically be symmetrical to the ending. And I want to make sure I don't go that way. I want to stay on this line here. Alright, what's next? He's got little cheeks. He's got little cheeks that come out a bit. Nope. Not there. Sort of there. And I want to bring the rest of this up and out. Neat little trick to bring all these up to keep them in angle from the wall. Just grab all of them, and then snap one to where you want to go, and it'll keep the rest of them in sync with the rest, with that one, so the distance will stay the same. That's what we want here, and then we can adjust them accordingly later on, but they work better this way. Let me bring his cheek out there a little bit there. Okay, got a nice kind of cheek sort of thing there. Kind of has another one because he's got a lot of wrinkles. He's an old tree after all. And we want to bring this nose up a tad bit too, so let's just grab all these pieces here and hold down shift and bring up. And I'm going to grab just these pieces here, and I'm going to bring those out a little bit. Bring his nose up more and start bringing it in. Again, I just want to pretty much lock. Matter of fact, oop, 1 second. I sincerely apologize, and hopefully I will skip this when I get back. Sometimes phone calls are inevitable and unavoidable when they occur. So, and that just happens, and you have to deal with it. So, not the end of the world. Like I said, we can just skip that around in ahead. As we were talking about the bridge of the nose, kind of giving it a little bit of an inward jolt to it. I want to make sure, I want to see. Yeah, you can actually lock the X constraint, I believe. It's one of these things. I think it's position, assign controllers. I was actually going to constrain it, and that way it was, there it is. You can move the lock, and that way it doesn't, it can't go to the right or left. It can only go that way. And I don't know if it actually, does it work? No, it doesn't work for sub, so it doesn't matter. All right, let's get back to business. So just be careful, and we'll bring the nose back in and bring it down like that. And do the same for the cheek. Let's come out. We can actually probably make a poly right there. It has a little bit of a size to it. And you weld that vertex together. There. I'm sure I'll be shrinking this bad boy down because he's going to be colossal and he can't be too big, but we'll worry about that later. Because he's going to have like all this hair that goes on and everything that just, I'm basically just making I'm just going to make a big glob of spiky hair and then make a hole in it, and the whole thing just sits right down on his head. Makes it pretty simple. All right. What else? It's chicken scratch. Yo. Yeah, just pushing it on in. Weld that vertex. Weld that vertex. You got a little bit of a side cheek there. Do 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 do. Boom 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Do. Didn't we? Ah, I forgot about doing that. I forgot about fixing all that crap. Well, let's fix it now. Let's fix it now. First of all, we don't need all this extra crap. We definitely don't need this to be super fine here. This is silly. Let's get these. Up. Definitely don't need this way down here. It's almost as if I can get rid of all this crap right here and just redo it. Like by joining them together. Join forces. Case in point. And there's a lot of vertices right there. Yeah, there's just no. Does it need to be there? No, it does not. So we're going to move it. Move it, move it. We're going to move it, move it. Border cap. Did that do any better? Not a bit. That is a bad polygon. These are bad polygons. Bring them all the way out of there. And I'm going to start welding some vertices. Because they don't need to be here. There. It helped a lot. Bring that in there. And we can just target weld this thing down there. There's no reason for that. Just like it's all back there, so no one's going to see it. Same thing right there. There. And now we still need to, now that we cleaned that up, we still need to get this crap smoothed out. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Ba-dee, 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 bee, ba-dee, ba-dee, bee. Bee, bee, dee, bee, bee. Dee, 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 boom, ba-dee, boom. Don't like him there. He's gone. Killed him. I don't like it there either. Gone. Killed it. Oh no. That's bad. That's not what I wanted. I don't like him. We're going to kill him now. There we go. And then create. I literally put a vertex in the middle of absolute nowhere. Let's try this again. There we go. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. So now it's looking more like a face and less like a tree. Yeah. Probably guys are here. You may or may not hear my printer, my 3D printer that's going on. It is merely just having a ball right now. Go ahead, thing it, thing oh thing, thing it, thing oh thing oh thing. Boom, 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 boom. Oh. Alright, that's starting to kind of look like it shouldn't be there. That's good. And put some. That'll automatically put some supports right between there, so that'll help out in a jiffy. Put in sort of a root system. A root system. I can't see where I'm going. Yeah, there we go. Let's see, I need to get most of these guys on the same track. Yeah, I'll need to be on the ground. I don't think I actually got them on the ground. I did not. So what I need to do is back, and then plane it on the Z-axis. And then that way it's on the ground. Just like that. Look at all this wonderful sport that you're going to have to clean out. Oh, lucky you. But sometimes you just can't resist it. It has to be done. I'll put that there, and then how am I going to get him around? Because really I don't want to fuse him into the root system. Could put him out, could pull him out a little bit. Bring in the double. Just like that. And now he is, doesn't quite look the same way, but he looks good enough. Good looks good enough. Yeah. Excellent. Target weld. Just keeping the overhang from being just too unnecessarily excessive. Ease this transition outward a bit more. Yeah, something like that. Always make sure that you got your symmetry lined up. Yep, that's not going to work. That does. Ew. There we go. I grabbed the wrong one. Alright, so there we go there. He's sculpting closer to beginning to look like a tree instead of a frog. I'm going to put this root right here, this rutabaga right here. And now I'm going to have to find a way to get the same number of polys, and add another poly, and we're going to have to make a whole bunch of these around make it flat like that. Alright, so you get that. Now the problem is you've got not enough polygons. So what do? Well, you add just a buttload of them. So you go in here and you've got, I mean, it'd be better to count. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. 50 does not divide by 12. I'll show you right here. Not anywhere close, but we can know that it's about divisible by 4. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, it should be enough for all these. And then just click connect, and then connect, connect. We're just making them all divisible by 4, so that there'll be 48 of them. And actually we need to do more than that, because that one is not going to really work very well. That one with that try. This one will, but these won't. So we actually have to make them worse than that. So we need 8, 9, 10. We need 10 more. So I'm going to put in 2 there, 2 there. It's 2, 4, 6, 8. I have a feeling I've put way too many on here. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out. Attach it. Use your border. Oh, that's right. Dang it. Can't do that. You just do edge. Can you do bridge with an edge? Yeah. So just deselect everything that you don't want. You're wanting just that bottom piece. Goes along this. That's all you really want. So just deselect everything else. Hold down your Alt button. And now we're going to go back to border and select that. And deselect that. And we're going to try to bridge just we have right here. So let's see what happens. And I think I added it right this time. And then well, that's no good. Hold on a second. Got a little emergency. As I apologize yet again for the delay in silence, um, as you're printing in 3D, sometimes the 3D printer gets a little wonky, and you have to go and babysit it, um, which was the case there. Um, let's see if I can't get this to look a little bit on my. There we go. That's better. And then these boys up more. Had to cancel the print after 2 hours of printing. It's unfortunate, but it's better to do it that way than go the distance and find out that after 7 hours of printing or 8 hours, it's completely worthless and you have to restart from scratch. So that's what testing is all about. No big deal at all. Alright, and just like we did with the other one, we turn off soft select, and yeah, we've got our root built into it, but we don't need any of these. So we basically go in and well, we're going to collapse them in steady groups rather than all of them together like that. Alright, there we go. Now we're back to it. And really, I want to go ahead and finish off the bottom piece so that there's a base to this thing, so we can actually see the general size and shape of this thing, because it does look like it's a big boy. Rotate that just a tad bit so we can have that clear piece there. And remember, we actually don't want to go too far because we're only going to go to where that symmetry is, which is right there. So that's essentially it right there. And if we were to turn on symmetry, we can see the general shape and size of what it's going to be. And then granted, I'm going to shrink that bad boy down considerably whenever we print them off, because I don't want to make them too big. But that's it. I'm going to stop for there for the night. and work on that a little bit at a later time. Notice that I have a little bit of cleaning up to do, and this doesn't have the same geometry as it should. That's a 509, okay. Gotta make sure I have that number right. And then we turn on symmetry and we'll be alright there. Alright. So far he's looking pretty cool, and he's got all of his pieces and P's and Q's ready to go. Lower half is done. That was the toughest part, and really just got to get the bushy eyebrows and then some decorations around the tree trunk, and then we'll do the leaves themselves, which again, it's basically just a disformed sphere with a bunch of spikes coming at it for the leaves, and we call it good. All right, man, that is how it's going to finish for today. I tell you what, we every time I get into these little zones and I just don't want to stop, but got other things to do today. Night is still young, and we will get together again, hopefully this in the next couple of days, and start putting some official dates and times on my Facebook, on Simple Polytrix's Facebook page. Be sure to follow along that if you're wanting to keep up to date on whenever these go streaming live. Otherwise, don't worry about that. Every one of these streams are always going to be recorded unless there's a technical problem where it doesn't. And you can go at any time at your leisure to this channel and watch any of the videos. I put them in a big long playlist to go in somewhat order. But you know, today we kind of jumped around. So until then, really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for sticking around. And until the next time, have fun, be safe. We'll see you next time.